Well, we have officially reached the final home stretch in our lawn care season. In this video, I'm going to give you a couple practical tips to prepare your lawn for the winter to come. So let's get out of the weeds. Thank you for coming back to yet another video. And so for most of us, our season is going to be winding down here over the next couple weeks. So you may notice that your grass isn't really growing that fast, or maybe not really at all. And so for me, I mowed my grass here about a week and a half ago or so, and it hasn't really done much since. It doesn't really need mowed, so I'm probably thinking I maybe have one more mow. And so this kind of led me to want to kind of talk about a couple of things that you want to make sure you do as you get ready to tell your lawn goodbye for the season until we jump back into it beginning of next season. So now the first thing to talk about is mowing. What height should you leave your lawn over winter? In general, I like to take my lawn down about 1 notch from what I typically do for most of the season. Now for most of this season, I've had my lawn anywhere between 3.5 inches and 4 inches at height. So right now, currently, I've worked my lawn down to the 3-inch mark. And that's right where I'm going to leave it going into winter. When I go do my last mow, I'm going to keep it at 3 inches. Now, you do hear sometimes people say, hey, take your lawn way down low. Now, I would caution you there not to go down too low. Don't go down more than maybe 1 setting lower than what you typically do. You don't want to really scalp your lawn. The reason that is just in general with scalping your lawn, anytime you do that, what you're going to require the grass to do is to put its energy back into the leaf blades, creating the blades of grass instead of creating the roots, which is what we really want. We want to always mow our lawn. When I always talk about that 1/3 rule, by not taking off more than 1/3 of the grass on each mow, you want to always try to stick with that, because then it lets the grass continue to put its energy into getting deeper, stronger, healthier roots. So therefore you're going to have stronger grass that's going to fight off everything we don't want in our lawn. Another thing to mention when it comes to mowing your grass, you don't want to go too short, but you also don't want to leave your grass too long. If you go and you decide like, hey, I just don't feel like mowing the grass anymore and it needs mowed, and you just let it go in the fall and then don't mow it, it goes over winter, what can happen is you can really be susceptible to some of the diseases that you get over winter with some of your snow molds and things like that if you leave your grass too long. So you do want to give it a nice cut to end the season, just make sure you don't go too short with it. Next thing I want you guys to pay attention to is whenever we get into fall, we get the leaves to drop off the trees and we get leaves covering our yard. Now, taking care of the leaves in your yard is a critical step to help you prevent lawn disease and to keep your grass healthy over winter going into spring. Now, one thing you do not want to do is to just let all the leaves fall over all over your lawn and just stay there all over winter, get covered by snow, and you're going to run into all kinds of problems with that, because the leaves are going to help block out the sunlight from the grass. And what can happen there is it also can hold in moisture in there, get disease. You can get all kinds of issues if you just leave leaves laying all over your lawn. So what you typically want to do with leaves that have fallen in your lawn is one of two things. First, you can just bag them, rake them and bag them, put them in piles, let your kids jump on them and then have some fun, and then bag it all up into trash bags and just remove it from your lawn. That's one option, and it could be a lot of fun doing it that way, letting the kids play in the leaves and all that. I have good memories of that. Another thing you can do is you can actually mow them into your lawn, just mulch them up. I recommend mulching your grass clippings typically, but what you can also do with leaves is continue to run over them several times and really mulch them up, getting into your lawn. And so what you want to kind of shoot for is to chop the leaves up into about dime-sized pieces. You don't want real big, I'm talking dime size. And so what that'll allow then is you can just leave the remnants of the leaves that are all chopped up on your lawn. What this can do by chopping up these leaves in real fine pieces and leaving them on your lawn, this will allow them to decompose, and it can actually give your lawn a bit of a nitrogen boost and actually provide some nutrients for your grass and be quite healthy as the leaves begin to break down and decompose. Now, when you're doing this, even though you go and run over it with the mower and you start to chop this up, you want to make sure that you can at least see more than 50% of your grass through the leaves. You don't want, even though it's real fine and chopped up, you don't want it to be a blanket over your lawn to where you can't see the grass, because the grass does need to be able to get the sunlight and everything. But it can be mixed in there with your grass. But as long as you can see more than 50% of your grass, you'll be fine. So you can just mow the leaves in, chop it up real fine, give your lawn a little bit of an extra nutrient boost there as we're going into winter. And it helps you prevent you from having to spend all day out there raking and doing that, because it can be a pain to do that stuff. Now, some of you might be like me and you don't really have any trees, so you don't have any leaves to really worry about. Unlike my neighbor directly across from me, you can see they're going to have some work to do in their backyard. But thankfully, none of their leaves have dropped really into my yard, so it hasn't been too much of a factor for me. Just a few sporadic leaves here and there. So if you follow those steps, you'll be well on your way to helping your grass get through the winter and be ready to dominate as we get into the spring. So thank you guys for watching. Be on the lookout, as in my next video, I'm going to put down my winterizer fertilizer application, walk you through what I like to put down, how we put it down, and everything you need to do to tuck your lawn to bed for the winter. Also in the next video, I'm going to discuss what to expect in this channel over the couple months that we have over winter before we get ready to dive into next year's season. So with that, thank you guys for joining me. I'll see you guys next time when we get out of the weeds into a beautiful lawn.